Welcome to OOTO TV, the out-of-the-office investigation from the past into the future of health. This time we're discussing dishonesty, deception, and lack of sincerity in relationships and work.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben. It's great to be here. You know, Alex, we're going to be exploring a topic that touches literally every part of our lives. What if I told you that deception isn't just a rare event, but a constant, subtle force shaping our world?
Exactly. It's in our workplaces, it's in the media we consume, and sometimes it's even in our closest relationships. Today, we're going to explore this hidden epidemic, look at the real costs, and figure out how we can start rebuilding a world on a foundation of trust.
All right, let's just start with a number that is, honestly, it's hard to even wrap your head around. $3.5 trillion.
Wow. Okay, so to put that into perspective for everyone, that's not the GDP of a small country. That's a major global economy right there. And this is just the estimated annual cost of workplace fraud.
Right. This isn't just some abstract figure on a balance sheet. Think about what that money could do. It could be funding incredible research, creating millions of jobs, building infrastructure, but instead, it's just gone. It's vanished into this black hole created by deception. It's a staggering waste.
And as massive as that financial cost is, it's not even the most important one, is it? This quote really gets to the heart of it. The real damage isn't measured in dollars and cents.
Not at all. Think about the last time you were let down, the last time someone broke a promise to you. That feeling, that sting of betrayal, that's the real cost. It shatters the very foundation of our teams, our friendships, and our families. And just like that fragile glass, even if you try to piece it back together, the cracks are always there.
Okay, so we all know what a lie feels like when we're on the receiving end. But deception is a much bigger, more complex beast than most of us realize. That's a great point. To really get a handle on this, to fight back against it, we first have to understand what it truly is. So let's get into the anatomy of it. So here's the textbook definition. For me, the key words here are acts and misrepresents. This is an intentional process. It's about deliberately creating a false reality for someone else to live in. And think about that for a second. When you felt deceived in the past, was it a big, outright lie? Or was it something more subtle, more insidious? Because the more we understand the different faces of deception, the better we can spot them and protect ourselves. And this is so important, because it shows it's a whole spectrum of behavior. It's not just the bald-faced lie, which is almost easy to spot sometimes.
Totally. It's the half-truth, right? It's saying, we hit our targets, but leaving out that you had to cut corners and compromise quality to do it. Or it's withholding key information, like a salesperson conveniently forgetting to mention all the hidden fees.
And don't forget the vague statements or the exaggeration. It's an entire toolkit of manipulation, all designed to do one thing: distort reality to serve the deceiver's purpose.
And we absolutely need to understand this toolkit. Deception is like termites in a house. You don't see the damage at first. It's happening silently, behind the walls.
But it's constantly eating away at the foundations of our relationships, our businesses, and even our society. And if you ignore it for too long, one day, the whole structure just threatens to come crashing down. That's why this matters so much.
Now, for anyone out there who still thinks ethics is some kind of soft skill or a nice to have, just look at this data. A Worthland worldwide survey found that a whopping 80% of us, 8 out of 10 people, choose products based on a company's ethics. And almost 3/4 of us invest that way too. The message here is crystal clear. This isn't just about being a good company anymore. In today's market, having a reputation for honesty and integrity is a massive competitive advantage. Ethics drives the market, period. So we've talked about the big picture, right? The trillions of dollars, the market forces. But let's bring it back home for a minute. Let's get personal.
Yeah, let's ask everyone listening. How has dishonesty impacted your own life, your closest relationships? What about your own mental well-being? Because the costs here are profound.
The personal toll is just devastating. Deception makes real, true connection impossible. If you're being lied to, your trust just evaporates. And for the person doing the lying, a huge gap opens up between who they are and who they pretend to be.
And research shows that gap fuels anxiety, it fuels depression, it's a lonely, isolating path. We have to be clear. Dishonesty, deception, and lack of sincerity in relationships and work is extremely harmful and destructive. It literally breaks people and relationships apart from the inside out.
You're listening to OOTO TV with research by author Paul Bulow.
All right, so that was the heavy part. But here's the good news. We don't have to be passive victims in all of this. We can actually learn to see the signs, to read the red flags, and to protect ourselves.
Exactly. It's time to stop being vulnerable and start being vigilant. It's time to arm ourselves with knowledge so we can spot insincerity a mile away. Okay, so here are 4 of the biggest tells. First, their words say one thing, but their body is screaming something else entirely. That mismatch is a huge warning sign. Then there's the excessive flattery. You know the type, the person who tells you you're a genius for simply turning on your computer. It's constant, it's over the top, and it's not a genuine compliment. It's a manipulation tactic. Third, their promises are basically worthless. They don't follow through. And fourth, they will do anything to avoid a real, deep, meaningful conversation. Everything is kept on the surface because the truth lives in the deep end. Let's focus on that flattery point for a second, because it's such an easy one to spot once you know what to look for. Think of it like this. A sincere compliment is like a rare diamond. It's specific. I was so impressed with how you handled that difficult client, and it's sporadic, which makes it meaningful.
Right. Insincere flattery, on the other hand, is like a pile of cheap plastic beads. It's totally generic. You're always so great. And it's constant. It loses all its value because it's not based in anything real. It's just noise.
Now, it's really easy to just point the finger and label someone a liar. We love to blame the bad apple.
We do.
But I want to pose a more challenging question. What if the problem isn't just the apple? What if the whole barrel is rotten? What if the system itself is actually designed to reward this kind of behavior?
This study is fascinating. It identified 4 main drivers of deception at work. And yeah, sure, personal gain and personality traits are on the list. No surprise there. But look at the other 2. CYA, which is exactly what it sounds like, a defensive move to cover your, well, and a corrupt system. This is huge. It suggests that often people aren't being dishonest because they're inherently bad, but because they're reacting to a broken system that pressures them into it.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The behavior continues because the system actually rewards it. If you get a bonus for hitting impossible sales targets, even if you had to lie to do it, the system just taught you that lying pays.
But here's the empowering part. Systems are made by people, and that means they can be changed by people. It all starts with one person, one leader, having the courage to stand up and say, "No, this isn't right. We're going to do this differently."
So that's the big question. Are you ready to be part of the solution? Are you ready to help build a world where trust isn't a luxury, but just the way things are?
Let's talk about how we can actually make that happen. And it all starts with a powerful, system-changing principle: accountability.
Accountability, at its core, is just about ownership. It's about taking responsibility for your actions, choices, and their results, good or bad.
But that last part is the absolute key. It applies to everyone. Trust dies in a workplace where there's one set of rules for the people at the top and another set for everyone else. Real accountability has to be consistent, from the mailroom to the boardroom.
And this really gets to the heart of why we're even having this conversation. Understanding and identifying dishonesty is critical to success. That's not an exaggeration. It's because it affects all professional and personal decisions.
It's true. This isn't a soft skill. The ability to see things clearly, to identify deception and replace it with a culture of accountability, that's a superpower. It sharpens every single decision you make, in your career, in your relationships, in your entire life.
So how do you actually build this kind of culture? It's not magic. First, you have to set crystal clear expectations, no ambiguity.
And leaders have to walk the talk. They must model honest behavior every single day. Then you have to create psychological safety, making it safe for people to say, "I messed up," without fearing for their job.
Exactly. You give regular, constructive feedback, and this is the most important part, you actively recognize and reward accountability. You get the behavior you reward. Designing methods to respond to dishonesty, deception, and lack of sincerity in relationships and work improves efficiency and success because everyone knows where they stand.
And on a personal level, for every single one of us, here is an incredibly powerful and simple tool. Think of it as a moral code, a quick gut check. Before you speak, before you act, just run it through these 4 gates.
Ben, is it the truth? Is it fair? Will it build goodwill? And will it be beneficial to everyone involved? I want to challenge everyone listening. Just try this for 1 week. In your emails, in your family conversations, just try it and see what changes. It can be a real game changer.
Which brings us to our final and maybe most important question. It's so easy to look at the world, with all its fake news and spin, and feel hopeless.
It is. But the world might be full of lies, but we don't have to be. We can be the change. We can be the ones who decide, in our own lives, in our own circles, to build a culture of truth. One honest conversation, one accountable action at a time. That's how it starts.